What's going on YouTube? Car Fight King here, Aqua Life baby. You already know how it is. So today I wanted to show you guys my Imperialdramon blue based deck profile for today. I used this in my local tournament yesterday, went 3-2, made top 8 with it. Had a decent day overall, but if I'm saying anything about the deck is very 50-50. You know, this deck, it's basically an aggro deck with some type of annoying control mechanics to it, with cards like Hammer Spark with memory control. Like blue is all about having expert memory control in a way. Not really expert, but it has some memory control, but it's also an aggressive color. It's a color I think that it's still kind of figuring itself out even as more sets go on. This deck has the ability to beat the best decks in the game, but also has the ability just to lose to everything else. It has a hard time getting around blockers, where you're forced to build tall instead of build wide. If you don't see your rookies, it can brick itself really bad, and that's what happened in the tournament. So it's a very 50-50 deck. It's still fun to play. I love the deck. I love the cards in here, obviously Vmon. But just understand, it's one of those things where it's the reality of what you're getting into. It's a definitely kind of like a high roll, low roll, 50-50 type of deck. So let me go ahead, show you what it is, get into it, and let's go. And show you some tweaks I want to make too. So I'm running 4 copies of the Demi Vmon. I'm gonna cut this Vmon. This is the Vmon for Ulforce, and I actually have an Ulforce deck profile I want to do. I updated the deck, and I really like the build I have. But this Demi Vmon is only really good in Ulforce. Because when you resend, you get 1000 DP, and a lot of times you don't even go through 4 eggs. A lot of times you end up going through 3 eggs, maybe 4. And I never really get to the 5th egg, because either I'm dead or my opponent's dead. If I'm going through multiple eggs throughout the game, then I'm probably not putting enough pressure on my opponent, basically, or they just have blockers out, and I'm trying to figure out a way to build. So I'm probably going to just go with 4 eggs and cut this Demi Vmon, just because I want the accuracy of getting to my jamming Demi Vmon as often as possible for that draw. For the rookies, running 2 copies of Gabumon for Gabu Gang, just for that draw. When you place him or Digivolve into him, 4 copies of Gomamon, 4 copies of Electmon, and 4 copies of the Jamming Vmon, which is the best rookie in the deck. The vanilla cards are good. Again, it has a little bit of rookie rush strategy in a way where we can play these cheap 2-drops for memory control, as well as just cheap cards to evo to, and you can also combo these with certain cards with you can combo these with like a blocker, or you can combo them with X Vmon to restand one of your level 4 lower cards. So these 2-drops really put in a lot of work. I do like the Gabumons in here. I may put in another Gabumon just because I like that on play draw that you get from the Gabumon, just to keep cycling through everything. So this is a rookie, and he's obviously the best rookie. Just a rookie with jamming. And again, he is the main target to Digivolve on top of this, because turn 1 you get this, you leave it in the egg zone, bring it up, attack with jamming. You don't fear your opponent's security because of the jamming ability, which means that you're not going to lose a security battle against another Digimon. So really strong. So that is the rookie lineup. So going into the level 4s, 4 Frigimon, just your basic 4-drop jammer, 4 copies of X Vmon, and 4 copies of Gorillamon, or excuse me, yeah, Grizzlymon, excuse me. Now, the Frigimon explains itself. I mean, he's a jammer, but you may or may not cut him down if you wanted to. X Vmon's a card that I tried out at less than 4 copies. I've actually had him at 2 copies at recent, but he's just super clutch into that aggression, into that ability to restand cards, and he makes a lot of plays. He literally won me the game against Shine Greymon the other day. Being able to go into, being able to swing his security with a rookie, hit a Tamer, then Digivolve into him, restand, and then swing again. Like, he's a really, really good card, and every test build I did with him less than 4 didn't feel good. So putting him up to 4 feels really good. Now, one of the big things about Imperial is whether you play Grizzlymon or you play Gorillamon a lot. That's like a big decision that a lot of people face. The reason why I play Grizzlymon over the Gorillamon, and I may or may not go back to Gorillamon, that's just a battle I keep facing every now and again. But the reason why we play Grizzlymon is because in my meta, I play against Rookie Rush every single week. I know there are at least 2 Rookie Rush players, and they're generally they're going to get their wins. So you have a higher chance of facing them, but you also have other Imperial players, and having this more defensive type of card in the lineup is good because I like it because it's able to help me protect some other cards as well. Gives me a little bit more longevity as far as stabilizing in the game. And again, against the Imperial matchup and against the Rookie Rush matchup, this card really saves your butt. I mean, this card won me the matchup in the mirror match because my opponent, I don't know if my opponent had it or not, but my opponent didn't have these, and I literally shut out his Vmon from being able to attack me, which bought me turn to either build wide or build tall, and get into Imperial. So that's why I like the blockers, and from the results from this past weekend, I was just like, hey, look, the blocker really worked out for me for the situations that I face on a more consistent basis. So that's the level 4 lineup. Now for level 5s is very simple. 4 copies of Imperialdramon and 4 copies of Digimon. So Imperialdramon is the best one out of them as far as climbing up the ladder going into Imperial because he has jamming, but his inheritable, as long as you have an Imperial on top of him, you can restand. I think it's just Imperialdramon. Yeah, anything that has Imperialdramon. So when they come out with like Paladin mode and Fighter mode in them, this guy is going to be even better. Digimon. So Digimon is an entry card, so it has piercing and jamming. But it's the worst target to digivolve Imperialdramon off of because you don't get that extra reset, so you're missing out on that extra attack. With that being said, it's still a decent card because it punishes your opponent for leaving certain cards in a rest position. Like, if you can see this card against the green matchup, it's amazing, especially with all their downloads and whatnot. Like, you can really make them pay for doing, like, the download digivolves and things like that with just this card. Other than that, not much really to say about the level 5 lineups. When you go into him, it makes you rather just you rather just digivolve Imperial, swing, and then go into Omnimon and pass, basically. And for level 6 playing 3 copies of good old boy Puppetmon, and 4 copies of blue Imperialdramon. I absolutely love this card. Puppetmon isn't here because we're here's the thing. I have a Puppetmon is the definition of a 50-50 card, basically, right? And in this format, 50-50 can be either very dangerous or can win you games. You have to time Puppetmon correctly. Dropping him at the incorrect time will cost you the game. And against, you have to understand the matchup you're playing against as well, because dropping him can cost you the game. And in other matchups, he can win you the game or stall out enough for you to win the game. He's more or less considered a panic button, if anything else. But being able to call him out for 11, rest something, stun the board is good, because then that pauses their aggression for a turn and then let you build up or do anything, do what you need to do for next turn. But, again, he's kind of like a panic button. He is good in certain situations, but a lot of times he's not. So, I'm definitely looking for ways to improve the lineup here in a way. And then 4 copies of Blue Imperial. Blue Imperial is unbelievably amazing. Plus, this is the alternate artwork. I absolutely love the alternate artwork, so I got 4. What he does is he has jamming. When you digivolve into him, he restands all jammers, and That's pretty much it. He's just a jammer that restands old jammers on Digivolve. So in this deck, when you go wide and you have a lot of jammer, and you're able to establish a lot of jammers on board, as soon as you Digivolve into him, you restand all jammers. Now, you can use this Digivolve as a defensive option, or you can use this as an offensive option. So you can either, if you go into him, Digivolve him, and it still doesn't pass over your turn, then we got more attacks coming at you, right? And then the general play with Imperialdramon is to swing with Imperialdramon at their security, jam it, hit it up, and then Digivolve into Imperialdramon, restand all, swing with Imperialdramon's inheritable, restand, swing again. So having a Imperialdramon there lets you get off a triple attack with one card during the turn. But when he restands all the other jammers, you can do that. And again, like sometimes you go into him defensively, where it's like, well, I swung with the Imperialdramon, and now I'm just going to go right into the Imperialdramon Dragon mode, restand my jammer, so now my opponent can't attack me. So that's essentially what you want to do with the Dragon mode, if you can see him. And then the last kind of mega play is Omnimon. So when you Digivolve him on top of the Dino Beamon, it's not really, when you Digivolve him on top of Dino Beamon, you don't really get anything. You just get a big 12k that has jamming. That's okay, whatever. So then at that point, I'd rather just Digivolve into Omnimon, swing, bounce him back to hand, restand again, and then let Omnimon really be that card that controls the board. Other than that, that's why he's in here. He adds a little bit of destruction to it. Now, if you don't have Omnimon, I see people play like Cocytus Breath or something like that, but I like to play in the Omnimon. Just the fact that I have the option to go into it is pretty decent. So, yeah. And he's great when you hit it in security. And then last but not least, we have 4 Hammer Spark and 3 Davis. The Hammer Spark is a busted card. If you hit in, when you hit in your opponent's security, you can literally win the game. I've lost to Rookie Rush multiple times by just swinging into a Hammer Spark in their security. It's just when you swing into a security, you gain 2 memory. If you just hard play it, you get 1 memory. And then when you hard play it, this literally, like I told you before, blue really helps control with memory. This just extends your play. He's like literally a play extender. Or you can Hammer Spark, call something out, and choke your opponent at 1. So you can use this either as like a play extender or, to help choke your opponent, for memory. So that's good. And then Davis is really good. I was playing him at 4, but I needed to see less Tamers and more of him, even though I still want to see him at a good number. So I feel like 3 is a good number for him. Though you want to play 4, you understand that the way this deck is and how 50-50 it is, you need to be seeing your Digimon a little bit more. But when he gets dropped to the board, you get to look at the top. You get to reveal the top 3 and add 1 blue, 1 green. So sometimes you get the Imperial and Puppet. It's like, oh great, I just bam, add the 2 to hand. Or you can find like the Imperial and the Dino Beamon. So it's really good. Only cards you don't want to reveal is the Omnimon, but that's the risk you take. But otherwise, that's the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about the Imperialdramon blue deck. And like I said, I will have an All Force update for you guys pretty soon, as well as an update to my purple Millenniumon build and Lilithmon build. Alright, since Card Fight King, Aqualife, and we are out of here.